Coming up, arduous day's labour.
Yeehaw!
I've never heard you sound like that.
That was what I was imagining.
You should market that voice.
I have to say, as a woman, that was a tough read.
Who on earth has written something like that in this day and age?
Sometimes you do get the voices mixed up, but nobody notices.
It's like nobody cares.
Seriously?
No way.
Shakespeare helps, right?
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that? Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That, the podcast sponsored by BritishVoiceover.co.uk. Let's get this party started, shall we, and introduce my co-host, Sam Boffin. Hi, Sam.
Hey, hello.
Well, today's fun fact about Sam is that she's always been a vegetarian, long before it was fashionable or even remotely healthy.
I mean, I was literally the only vegetarian at school, in my school, the entire time through it.
And I bet they didn't know what to do.
They didn't. They gave me literally all I had for a school meal. This is primary school.
Yeah.
So my sister really jumped ship almost as soon as she got to primary school. She decided she was not going to be a vegetarian. Mm-hmm. But I was such a goody-goody, I stuck with it. And literally they gave me exactly the same food as everyone else in the school.
Right.
But I had a hard-boiled egg.
Oh, no.
That was it.
Oh.
Every day.
As an ardent meat eater, so even bacon doesn't get you?
Well, it doesn't get me because I've never had it.
Oh,
No.
Fair.
My co-host is Mark Rice, who loves the sea but hates the sand.
Oh, I don't like sand at all. You
you
know,
not?
I've just come back from holiday and
Yeah.
we did one day on the beach because I really wanted to go and play in the waves because I'm a bit of a kid like that. But I hate sand. We actually left the beach quite early because it was sand blasting my legs. I hate it. I think it comes from when I was a kid because my dad used to brush the sand off our legs before we got back in the car. And I
Yes.
think that's really kind of made me anti-sand completely.
Anti-sand.
Anti-sand. Put it this way, I love Brighton Beach. I don't love Bournemouth Beach. And I lived in Bournemouth for 7 years and was on the radio there. So, yeah, just no sand. Anyway. And of course, we also have a special guest this week, who is Amrit Sandhu. Amrit, hello.
Hello.
It's lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here, guys. Thank you so much.
Amrit Sandhu is a British Sikh voice actor who is a 7 times Voice Awards nominee. He's based in West London, and since going full-time in 2019, only 2019, as a professional voice actor, he's been the voice for hundreds of blue-chip companies with clients including Mercedes-Benz, FC Barcelona, Qatar Airways, or do you say Qatar or Qatar, Amrit?
I think I should say Qatar Airways.
Yep.
Or is it Qatar Airways? I should say Qatar Airways.
Yeah, I've got a client out there, and they insist I call it Qatar Airways now.
Qatar, not Qatar. Not
No,
Qatar.
like Catter, Qatar.
Whereas I was saying it like Qatar, the stuff in the back
Yeah,
of
me
your
too.
throat.
Yes, that you cough up. Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so pleased that both of you have actually done something with this particular airline and neither of you have got it right.
Oh, well.
Superb. Amrit says, and I quote, I was raised on top of a sweet shop in Shepherd's Bush, and we'd get people with different accents walking in all the time, so I'd copy them, which proved very useful when Amrit later decided that he would record his first audiobook on ACX. I can't believe this, a 100,000 word fantasy book. Ooh. Nobody starts with a 100,000 word fantasy book. That's madness. With 30 different characters. And from there, his voice acting journey began.
We're not worthy. I mean, seriously.
That's incredible.
Do you know what? I think it's almost like you go in kind of a meditative state when you it's like a comforting thing when you find another audiobook. You know, just nice cozy story I'm telling myself or reading. I read them cold.
Do you?
Yeah,
Seriously?
it's no other way, yeah.
No way.
No,
Yeah.
I've never, ever known that.
Yeah, it's too big.
How do you make decisions about character voices?
Okay, so let me tell you my process. So what I do is I team up with the author, ask them the questions, get them to do the hard work.
Yeah, but how do you know what questions to ask if you haven't read it?
Read the book.
So the characters. So I say, okay, can you give me a picture of all the characters? Have a spreadsheet, and who are they, and what kind of accents do they have? Really, that's all I need to know. And to be honest, it makes it more interesting for me. Your second time read's not always as interesting.
I can see that, but I just think that is a really difficult way of doing it.
Before.
But otherwise, you're reading the book twice, 100,000 words. There's some big characters. So, we decide beforehand. And as long as you're consistent, and that's why I have the spreadsheet with the names, and we might have like a soundbite for each voice. And sometimes you do get the voices mixed up, but nobody notices. Over 100,000 words. Nobody's going to notice. So.
Sorry about that, Audible. It's like nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I think you've almost rendered us speechless there.
We have.
It's like we're
guess-
both like, wow.
I guess I'm the ultimate fake it till you make it. But you know what? That's how you learn. And I did five books like that, but which I read 6 times because I had to read the first one twice. I'm mad.
Well, on that note, let's have a look at our first script of the show and ask, how do you say that?
How do you say that?
Right, okay, you two, this is something I've been working on this week. It's basically a screencast. It's an introduction to a company so that people and visitors can kind of get more of an idea of what the company is about. Normally fairly straight, I would have thought, but I think you do need to throw a bit of personality into it, because otherwise it just becomes dull.
Yes. Wow.
Shall I get you to do it first, Sam?
Oh, yes, please. I'll put my personality behind it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I think actually if you bring your chocolatiness to it, it will sound lovely.
I may or may not bring my chocolatiness to it. Who knows what I will do? Not me at this stage. Anyway, right. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. In this training session, we're going to review the basic functionality of your utility portal, woohoo! Including setup, vehicle tracking and dashboard reporting. This session is great if you're a first-time user, if you're in the process of setting up your portal, or if you just need a good portal refresher. By attending this session, you will understand how to configure your portal and use meaningful data to reduce your fleet's operating costs. This session will run for about 45 minutes, and there will be time at the end for questions and answers. Enter your comments in the chat area, and we'll address them at the end of the session. Our goal is to provide exactly what you need so you can confidently set up your portal.
Me.
It's a tough one, that. Did you spot how difficult it was to say fleet's operating costs?
That didn't worry me. It was the repetition of that blasted portal. I mean,
Absolutely.
It was just getting ridiculous.
It's interesting because I've taken out some of the words from the script that actually identify the company. It's a massive petrochemical company, this.
I'll be honest, I found it difficult to keep a straight pace.
Yes, exactly.
Keep a straight pace. Keep a straight pace. Good. Who needs a good portal refresher?
Exactly. I mean, if you've forgotten how to use your portal, I don't know. Absolutely. Do you not find that sometimes these scripts come in and it's like, oh, this is the very beginning of a 50-page script about how to use your portal and every inconceivable detail you never wanted to know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole repetition of that idea of the utility portal and the refresher portal and the good portal. Yeah.
Lots of coffee.
But I tell you, if you've got a fleet, I know exactly how to run it efficiently.
Well, I'm sure you do after 52 pages of portal discussion.
So you're right. Amrit, does that fill you full of dread or?
It's bread and butter, isn't it? This is the problem.
Exactly.
It pays well and they need it. We do a job.
Yeah.
And you can be a semi-zombie state and just read the words. But what I try to breathe some life. And I did some stuff for Mercedes-Benz and Kia, these car training things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough bringing these kind of things to life.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, this is going to be terrible. So try to do it conversationally.
Okay. Do.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. In this training session, we're going to review the basic functionality of your utility portal, including setup, vehicle tracking, and dashboard reporting. This session is great if you're a first-time user, if you're in the process of setting up your portal, or if you just need a good portal refresher. By attending this session, you will understand how to configure your portal and use meaningful data to reduce your fleet's operating costs. This session will run for about 45 minutes, and there will be time at the end for questions and answers. Enter your comments in the chat area, and we'll address them at the end of the session. Our goal is to provide exactly what you need so you can confidently set up your portal.
You're very listenable, Amrit. That is great for a training exercise like that.
Yeah.
Because actually it was really friendly. There was a real warm tone to it, Sam, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely. And it felt very natural. I was actually cringing at what I had done with it when I listened to what you had done with it, because I think I just took the mickey entirely. But I thought that was a lovely kind of flowing sort of feel, friendly feel. It was lovely. Yeah.
Thank you. Usually I have really badly written scripts.
Don't we all? That's from everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And it's like, when it's half decent, then you can bring it to life. And Shakespeare helps, right? A few Shakespeare lessons.
Yes, if you know Shakespeare. Yeah.
Shakespeare and his portal refreshers. That well-known
Absolutely.
speech.
I mean, I have to say, I did it a bit more bland than either of you. I think because that's what they were after.
Right.
Big company, didn't really want too much personality into it. I put a bit in there because otherwise I would have bored myself. And I didn't want to bore the people listening to it. Right, here we go then. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. In this training session, we're going to review the basic functionality of your utility portal, including setup, vehicle tracking, and dashboard reporting. This session's great if you're a first-time user, if you're in the process of setting up your portal, or if you just need a good portal refresher. By attending this session, you'll understand how to configure your portal and use meaningful data to reduce your fleet's operating costs. This session will run for about 45 minutes, and there will be time at the end for questions and answers. Enter your comments in the chat area, and we'll address them at the end of the session. Our goal is to provide exactly what you need so you can confidently set up your portal.
Hey.
Do you know, I really visualised you there. Either you were in Vision or you were a man, you were a kind of animated person talking to me.
I think they went with the animated person in the end, but I think, I think that there was a character, because otherwise you can't do 52 pages of that without the character popping up now and again, can you?
Yeah.
It was a perfect balance of authority and, they were there to learn and you meant business. So great read for all round.
Great read.
Amrit, you were absolutely right when you said this is bread and butter stuff, because it absolutely is, isn't it?
Yeah. Boring, but it pays the bills. I try to stay excited about this stuff.
I think you have to, yeah.
I'm trying to inspire somebody. These people are bored out of these lessons. We've all done e-learning courses. So if I can, my style is like, if I can talk direct to that one person, wake them up, try it. But then again, it's tough when you're doing 50 pages of this.
Yeah.
You're going to end up in that auto mode.
How do you say that?
It's worthwhile remembering that these are real scripts we're working on, but we've changed the names and some of the details to avoid copyright issues.
Indeed we have. And let's move on to Amrit's script. Amrit, you have brought what is quite an unusual script. Can you tell us about this?
I think this was at a wedding.
Right.
It's kind of a wedding thing. So it's going to be filmed, and they were getting married, and it was like an interesting story.
Oh, I see. So it's it's like for a wedding for a real couple.
For a real couple. So they were going to play it at the wedding, I assume. Documentary style. And they asked me to do this in an Attenborough style.
I see. I wondered if you were going to say that because certainly the first sentence lends itself to that without a shadow of a doubt.
But it's kind of a jokey script, so...
Shall I launch in?
Yeah, please do.
Go for it.
The Verks. As the sun begins to set over the plains of Petah Tikva, both male and female begin to make their way home from an arduous day's labour. The male's true passion lies in video games, while the female enjoys collecting stickers. Despite their 9-to-5 grind, the two have managed to maintain their love of the arts and their sense of playfulness. Both male and female have different interests, and this can sometimes lead to conflict. While the male likes to spend his evenings gaming in his cave, the female desires nothing more than to spend them snuggled up together in their nest. In the end, the female, more often than not, wins. Her persuasive nature, sometimes referred to as nagging, convinces the male to concede.
Nice. You got some comedy in there as well, and you could tell where where a live audience would actually go, oh.
I mean, I have to say, as a woman, that was a tough read, that end bit. Sometimes referred to as nagging.
Very sexist.
Kind of like, whoa, really?
Yes.
When I read it earlier and I thought it might have been a corporate script or something like that, I thought, oh, who on earth has written something like that in this day and age?
I know they'd get sacked immediately. My wife's actually a HR person, and she would not be happy with this script.
No, indeed. But I guess if it's for a couple and it's jokily playing within the wedding, it's almost being played for laughs.
Until you put it into perspective, Amrit, I had no idea what this was, to be perfectly honest.
I thought this would be a fun one.
So that was useful to know that.
That was a lovely read, though, Sam. I mean, I think that the internal conflict that was going on as a woman in your head kind of came out, but it was a lovely read.
Oh, did it?
It was a great read. And, I was smiling all the way through. I was trying not to laugh.
Yeah, no, it was actually, I mean, apart from the bizarre things that were said in it, it was a fun read to do, actually, to do that sort of mockumentary type read.
That's exactly what it is, yes, mockumentary indeed, very much so. Amrit, I think I'm going to go for it more like Attenborough.
Go for it,
Good.
Just because it's kind of written that way. I'm not a brilliant Attenborough person, but I will certainly give it a try. Yeah. I've done a few of these over the years. Let's have a look. The Verks. As the sun begins to set over the plains of Petah Tikva, both male and female begin to make their way home from an arduous day's labour. The male's true passion lies in video games, while the female enjoys collecting stickers. Despite their 9-to-5 grind, the two have managed to maintain their love of the arts and their sense of playfulness. Both male and female have different interests, and this can sometimes lead to conflict. While the male likes to spend his evenings gaming in his cave, the female desires nothing more than to spend them snuggled up together in their nest. In the end, the female, more often than not, wins. Her persuasive nature, sometimes referred to as nagging, convinces the male to concede.
Lovely, nice and breathy.
Really good, really good.
Very nice.
Attenborough is kind of breathy, really. Attenborough's style is kind of breathy,
He is. When you started, you were breathier.
Yes.
So was that a conscious effort conscious decision, to perk it up as you went through?
No, it wasn't, and it got faster and faster as I went through, and I shouldn't have done. I should have kept that same pace all the way through.
Okay.
So no, it wasn't conscious, but I think if I was doing a second read of it, I would keep it slow.
Right, yeah.
Possibly.
Because I really liked it, because what that did, of course, was it made the most of the jokiness of it.
Yes, yeah. And it gives the laughs room to breathe almost, doesn't it?
By the way, that was a great read, Mark.
Thank you.
You were very documentary, very interesting, very kind of wildlife-y style, these two creatures, and this is the habitat kind of thing. So you really grabbed us in. So yeah, I like that.
It's interesting how many people ask for Attenborough style but don't really want that. They just want something that is edging towards that.
Exactly. And Attenborough's he's actually there. He's not really there filming.
Yeah. No, indeed.
He's, you feel like
brings
he's
you
there.
into the moment. Yeah, very much so. But interestingly, Attenborough's voice has changed so much over the years. Even in the last 10 years, has changed hugely. And the style that people were thinking of as Attenborough style 10 years ago is not what he's doing now.
I know, and I struggle with it because his voice has changed. I'd say in the last even few years. It's become,
which your voice does as you get older anyway. Whether you use it every day professionally or not, it does.
And he's 90 now, is he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the man is a legend, an absolute legend.
And that's the beauty about our field. We can do it till we drop.
Yes, so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right, let's hear the Verks from you, Amrit, if we may.
Sure. Okay. The Verks. As the sun begins to set over the plains of Petah Tikva, both male and female begin to make their way home from an arduous day's labour. The male's true passion lies in video games, while the female enjoys collecting stickers. Despite their 9-to-5 grind, the two have managed to maintain their love of the arts and their sense of playfulness. Both male and female have different interests, and this can sometimes lead to conflict.
while the male likes to spend his evenings gaming in his cave, the female desires nothing more than to spend them snuggled up together in their nest. In the end, the female, more often than not, wins. Her persuasive nature, sometimes referred to as nagging, convinces the male to concede.
Yeah, great. I mean, you absolutely captured the Attenborough there.
Yeah.
But what we were saying, the Attenborough from a few years ago. Yeah,
Yes.
very, very much. I'll tell you how I think you did it. It's the bit behind the teeth. It's the tongue behind the teeth at the top. Actually brings that sound out more. I could almost visualise the way you were doing it.
Well, it was interesting because, I mean, but the interesting thing is that you, as blokes, might get asked to do Attenborough a lot. Obviously, I've never been asked.
No, indeed.
To be so it's really interesting. There must be stock things that people ask men to do, and in the same way that we get asked for stock things that I'm often asked to do a kind of Joanna Lumley-esque type read, for instance. So there are obviously stock things out there that people want to hear an approximation of.
Yeah, very much so.
Although Amrit, I have to say that was a little bit more than an approximation of.
Yes,
I thought
it was
that was
a bit,
quite a good,
it was good.
Interpretation of it. But it is really interesting, isn't it? So you both have been asked for Attenborough before.
Oh, and it's all. And you look down the audition pages, wherever you get your friendly auditions from, and it's there. It's there almost every day, Sam, because it's almost like people cannot get themselves out of thinking outside that box.
Yes. One of the ones that we had for years, women had for years, was the Marks and Spencer ad.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Kerwin, read, which was ridiculous, really, because nobody could do it as well as she could, so what was the point?
This isn't just any food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, your voice is made for that.
Oh, isn't it? Isn't it? Just,
yeah.
Dervla got there first. What can I say, guys?
Well, here's the moment that we love, the wild card bit of the show. Let's see if we can approach these scripts in a completely different way. Amrit, can you pick one of the scripts and give Sam a new way to perform it?
I'm going to ask Sam to do script 1.
Right.
Just to complete wildcard in a documentary Attenborough style.
Oh. Oh my
Interesting.
God. Well, after I've just said we never get this.
Now's your chance.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wow, I haven't studied him at all. But, wow, gosh.
Sorry, I've put you on the spot.
No, you're meant to. That's the whole point of it. Okay, so I will do my best to do... I probably won't do the whole thing, but I'll do my best to do an approximation.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. In this training session, we're going to review the basic functionality of your utility portal, including setup, vehicle tracking, and dashboard reporting. This session is great if you're a first-time user, if you're in the process of setting up your portal, or you just need a good portal refresher. By attending this session, you will understand how to configure your portal and use meaningful data to reduce your fleet's operating costs.
Lovely.
Nice.
Do you know what? For someone that's not done Attenborough before, I could tell what you were. Even if I didn't know, I could tell that that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
If someone asked me to do it, the
You'd
first
go and
thing I would
study it
do
a
is
bit.
go and study the rhythm, because I'm absolutely sure I didn't get that right.
Interestingly, in the first paragraph you did, in the second it lost it a bit. From the off, really good. I could tell who you were going for.
Yeah. It's a weird one, that.
It's a tough one. The script doesn't lend itself to that. But you know what? You did a fantastic job. To be honest, it was a really good read. It was a really good read.
It was a really good read, yeah.
And if you do that on an e-learning script, I think you're creating a new genre here.
The female Attenborough utility portal genre.
Love it.
It's interesting. Interesting to listen to, yeah.
Amrit, it's your turn, and I'm going to suggest one for you now, if that's okay. But I'm going to go with the Verk script, if that's all right. I would like you to do it in the style of a very excited Labrador. So imagine it's almost a cartoon of a Labrador doing and all of the panting, all of the everything. Can you make us believe that you are a Labrador doing this script?
Okay, let's think about this. The Verks.
As the sun begins to set over the plains of Petah Tikva, both male and female begin to make their way home from an arduous day's labour. The male's true passion lies in video games, while the female enjoys collecting stickers. Despite their 9-to-5 grind, the two have managed to maintain their love of the arts and their sense of playfulness.
Can I call it a day there?
Yeah, you can. Do you know what I actually had in my head? I had a vision, not necessarily of a Labrador, but of the Cat in the Hat kind of a cartoon.
Ah, yeah.
Like Dr. Seuss. Do you know what I mean? That's how I imagine he would kind of speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was lovely. There was a huge amount of characterisation there, Sam, wasn't there?
Loved it. So, now, Mark.
Yes.
I'm going to give you...
Yeah, something easy, possibly?
Yeah, something really easy. You'll love it. But I don't know which script to give it to you for, because actually it would work for either. I want you to do Hillbilly, babes.
Oh, hi.
Which is why...
All right.
Which is why...
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Or maybe not Hillbilly. Actually, maybe not Hillbilly, but maybe kind of...
Country and Western.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes, so let's really make everybody. Let's
Yes,
do that.
apologies in advance. Yes. So do not mean to offend anyone.
I think the Works, the second one, is more difficult. It's more challenging.
I think you're
For
right.
a hillbilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a try. What can I say?
Give it a try.
Okay. The Works! As the sun begins to set over the plains of Petah Tikva, both male and female begin to make their way home from an arduous day's labour.
Yeah.
The male's true passion lies in video games, while the female enjoys collecting stickers. Despite their 9-to-5 grind, the two have managed to maintain their love of the arts and their sense of playfulness. Both male and female have different interests, and this can sometimes lead to conflict. While the male likes to spend his evenings gaming in his cave, the female desires nothing more than to spend them snuggled up together in their nest. In the end, the female more often than not wins. Her persuasive nature, sometimes referred to as nagging, convinces the male to concede.
What I loved about
my gosh.
was your...
Bravo.
Was that when you could just go
That was
really high
good.
in your...
Mark, I've never heard you sound like that.
It needs a bit of the hi-ho.
Absolutely.
You did well. I love that little
Superb.
quirkiness in your voice.
God, that was great.
And do you know what? I kind of pictured giant handlebar moustache like that cartoon character Yosemite
Yeah.
Sam.
We all did, to be perfectly honest, at that moment.
Good,
That was what I was imagining.
Oh, that's okay. As long as you're imagining that, that's a good thing. So I did where I was going. I'm not sure whether you got any understanding out of the script for it.
Again, it is that way that we kind of playing around with it gives it a completely different feel. What did you think, Amrit?
I thought it was a very entertaining read. You really drew us in. The voice, I don't know if you've ever done that voice before, but
I don't think I have,
wow,
actually.
you should market that voice. It's really entertaining and it brings the audience in and it's fun. It's like, I want to hang around with this guy, you know?
Nice.
So, yeah.
Hey, Sam, talking of wildcard, we're doing something very exciting in a couple of weeks, aren't we?
Yes, we're at the One Voice conference.
We are indeed.
And we're doing a little workshop.
A workshop called, how do you say that? Yeah.
Yes, using the wildcard technique.
It's going to be so much fun.
In fact, actually, if anybody wants to send in prior to that any ideas for wildcards,
please do.
Then that would be amazing, because the more we've got, the more fun it'll be.
Absolutely. Podcast at britishvoiceover.co.uk.
Definitely. And of course, for the scripts as well, if you want to have a go yourself, we've put all the scripts in the show notes and you can have a practice, or you could even record yourself performing it.
Yes.
And yes, please do. And send it to us at podcast@britishvoiceover.co.uk, and maybe we could play one in an up-and-coming episode.
Oh, possibly we could. Well, as well as your MP3s, if you've got any voiceover questions you'd like answers to, do send your questions. Again, same email address, podcast@britishvoiceover.co.uk.
Yes, and on that note, our question this week is... Dun, da, da, as a voiceover... do you need to have a website?
Yes. End of question.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's that done then.
I'm a big, strong believer in, yes, you've got to have a website that shows off what you can do and brings people, and preferably has a call to action so that people can book you through it as well.
Amrit? What do you think?
Because I did a bit of marketing. The guy who taught us marketing, he was like, you don't need a website.
Really?
I think as a voice actor, you do, because where do you store your samples? But as a business, if you're looking at where the traffic is going, it's usually Facebook and LinkedIn. So you need profile pages there.
Yep.
But definitely you need some kind of landing page, I think. I think you need both.
Yeah, and also because I can look at my website analytics and I can see where they come from. And a lot of people come via my social media pages. Mm-hmm. So I can see that they go from that to check me out. And I must admit that if I'm booking someone, photographer or a graphic designer or somebody that was doing some editing for me, I would want to check them out on their website.
Amrit, thank you so much for taking part in How Do You Say That? A reminder that Amrit's details will be found in the show notes. They'll all be there. It's been a fascinating chat, hasn't it, Sam?
It has. Yes, absolutely. My goodness. I thought I knew you fairly well, actually, Amrit, so I'm staggered at what I've discovered. So we will, of course, also be putting the scripts from today's show in the show notes so you can have a read yourself.
Indeed. Please
do have a go at them and send them in to podcast@britishvoiceover.co.uk. We would love to hear what you do with them.
And that's the same email address for your VO questions as well.
Please do like and subscribe and even review the podcast and tell people about it and tell your voiceover mates and reshare our Facebook posts about it, that kind of thing.
All right, that's it for this week. But of course, we will be back next week with more scripts and another voiceover guests when we'll be asking...
And we do this all together now. You didn't warn Amrit. Amrit needs to know.
Okay, all right. The warning, Amrit, is I do that bit and then we say it all together. All right? I'll do that. So, okay, that's it for this week. But of course, we'll be back next week with more scripts and another voiceover guest where we'll be asking...
How do you say that?
How do you say that?